Hey y'all, how you doing? Chapter 1, Japan, 15th century. Kuroi Bara watched as Daimyo Tanaka's palace burned from the forest edge, the dancing flames pushing back the approaching darkness. Sadness shadowed her heart, for Tanaka had been a good friend and an excellent business partner. He had accepted her overtures when no one else would, and he had introduced her to Edo society despite the protests of his peers. But it was that same independence that led to his death. His honor would not allow him to flee, even when he knew the other daimyos plotted his demise. Luckily, he did not feel the same way about his daughter. A rider emerged from the woods on the opposite side of the field, pushing hard until he was only a few feet from Kuroi. He pulled back the reins of his black stallion, and it reared before her, its front hooves flailing. When the horse settled, the rider dismounted. The horseman's samurai uniform was stained with blood. There was someone else with him, a girl, no more than 10 years old. "Gao, where are the others?" Kuroi asked. Gao, one of Yuma's most trusted samurai, bowed before answering. "They refused to come," he said. "They chose to die with Daimyo Tanaka." "I want to die too," the girl shouted. "Quiet," Gao barked. The girl's eyes went wide, and she backed away. Gao closed his eyes, his head dropping. He took a deep breath, reached into his robe, then extracted a small leather bag which he gave to Kuroi. She opened the bag. It was filled with gold nuggets. "Your payment," Gao said. "Take Princess Danuja to Lord Li Wei in Hangzhou. The Lord will protect her until it's time for her to return. He will give you the rest of your payment when you deliver her." "This is not necessary," Kuroi said. "Tanaka is a friend." "It is the honorable thing to do," Gao replied. "Please, respect the daimyo's wishes." Bara put the bag in her pocket. Gao turned, then knelt before the girl and grasped her shoulders. "Princess Danuja, now is not your time. Your Odo-san has given you a duty, one that only you can fulfill. Lord Li Wei will prepare you. There is no one better." The girl glared at Kuroi, an expression the umbered-skinned woman was familiar with. "I will not dishonor my Odo-san or my family," the girl finally said. She shook free of Gao, then stomped by him to Kuroi. "Will you serve me without question?" she asked. Bara laughed, despite the graveness of their situation. "I serve no one, but I will see that you reach Li Wei." Danuja glanced back at Gao, worry in her young eyes. "This is best," Gao said. "Remember, do as Kuroi Bara says. Do not shame your family." "I will," she said. She looked at Kuroi with disdain. "Stay here," Bara said. She walked with Gao. "What will you do now?" she asked. "I will join my master." Will you be my kashkunin?" he asked. "Of course," Kuroi replied. Bara turned to Danuja. "I'll be back." She followed Gao to the field, where he knelt facing the castle. Kuroi took out her katana and waited. Gao was quick, jerking his tano free, then plunging it into his stomach. Bara waited until the disembowelment was complete before bringing her katana down and cutting off his head. As she turned to walk away, she saw Danuja staring with glistening eyes, her hands over her mouth. Bara grabbed the reins of the horse, then climbed on his back. "Danuja!" she called out. Her voice broke the girl's trance. Kuroi extended her hand. Danuja took it, and she lifted the girl onto the horse. "Remember what you saw today," Bara said. "Remember the sacrifices made for you. It will strengthen you for what is to come." Bara spurred the horse and it galloped through the trees. They had to reach the main road before nightfall, for it would be better to confront anyone after them in the open rather than in the forest. Her plan was to ride all night until they reached the harbor where her crew and her dhow waited. Yuma Tanaka had given her enough gold and other goods to make their journey to Nihon more than worth it. She would take the girl to Li Wei, then her role in this sad drama would be done. She and her crew would sail home to Pemba and bask in their newfound wealth. A flickering light to her left warned her. She reined the horse hard. The arrow whizzed by, nicking her hat. Wrapping her arm around Danuja's waist, she jumped from the stallion, then hid behind the nearest tree. Torchlights surrounded her like fireflies. There was no need hiding. Whoever pursued them would eventually root them out. She found a nearby clearing, then grabbed Danuja's hand. Come, she said. We can't go out there, Danuja cried. The archers will kill us. Bara dragged Danuja with her. Their arrows were meant for the horse, not us, she said. These are samurai. They will fight honorably. Stay by my side. They won't harm you because they want you alive. Their pursuers rode to the edge of the clearing and dismounted their horses. They planted their torches onto the grass before approaching. Kuroi took out her katana and her scimitar. We do not wish to harm you, Kuroi Bara, the lead samurai said. You can go free if you give us the princess. You know I can't do that, Haruki, Danuja answered. I gave Damo Tanaka my word. You're a gaijin, Haruki said. You have no bond to him. A promise is a promise, Kuroi replied. Haruki nodded. So be it. The samurai attacked in unison. Kuroi spun, knocking their blades away. One samurai staggered away with a slashed throat, another grasping the wound to his stomach. Kuroi ignored the slash to her back as she delivered a killing stab to the samurai that delivered the cut. In minutes only she and Haruki still stood. Both bled, but only Haruki struggled to stand. Walk away, my friend, Bara advised. You have fought honorably. There is no need for either of us to die tonight. Haruki steadied, raised his katana over his head, then attacked. Bara met his downward slice with her katana, then disemboweled him with her scimitar before slipping to the right. Haruki fell to his knees, then collapsed onto his face. Bara did not look at his body. This situation had her killing her friends, which made her sad and angry. Danuja emerged from behind the trees, her eyes wide. You are not samurai, nor are you ninja. Yet you killed these men as if they were flies that annoyed you. How is this possible? Bara grabbed the reins of one of the samurai's horses, then led it to Danuja. You have your own horse now, she said. We'll make better time. She went to Gao's horse and mounted. Danuja rode up to her. What are you, Karubara? A demon? Bara laughed. I'm just a woman that has been paid to keep you alive. Now let's go. If we survive to see tomorrow, I'll answer your questions. Well, at least some of them. They traveled the dark highway until they reached the harbor. Kuroi saw the lights of the city in the distance, and her mood lightened. They were almost safe. Kuroi, Bara, and Danuja galloped through the town directly to the harbor, ignoring the shouts of the constables. Kuroi felt some relief when she saw her modest dhow bobbing against the dock. She pulled the reins of her mount, halting it before the wooden planks. Danuja did the same. Kuroi helped the girl off her horse, grabbed her hand, then led her to the dhow. Hey, she shouted. Drop the gangplank. A bald brown head rose over the bulwark, revealing the face of a gray-bearded man rubbing his eyes. Kessie? Is that you? Yes, Baba, it's me, Kuroi replied. Drop the gangplank and wake up the Mahabharya. We need to set sail tonight. The gangplank slid over the side of the dhow and then clattered onto the dock. As they climbed aboard, a dog barked in the distance. They were coming. Kuroi hurried to the dow's warning bell, then banged it hard. The Mahabharya sleeping on the deck struggled to their feet, while those below hurried from the hold. Baba rushed to her side, his face scrunched with annoyance. What is going on, Kessie? He said in Swahili. He pointed at Danuja. And who is this? I'll explain everything as soon as we're underway, Kuroi said. She turned her attention to the crew and began shouting orders. Get the sails up. You two, get down there and push us off. Now! The Mahabharya scrambled about fulfilling their orders, and the dhow was underway in minutes. Kessie marched to the bow of the ship. Their timing could not have been better. The dock was filled with samurai. The archers released their arrows, which fell harmlessly into the dark waters. Kessie sat on the dock, sat on the deck, then let out a sigh. We're safe now, she said. Her Baba joined her. Now tell me what is going on. Kessie gestured to Danuja. Yuma Tanaka is dead, Kessie said. He was killed by the other daimos. This is his daughter, Danuja. He asked me to deliver her to a colleague in Hangzhou. This is terrible news, her Baba said. This will ruin us. Not quite, Kessie replied. She took Tanaka's pouch from her bag and handed it to Baba. He opened it and his eyes popped wide. This is enough gold to pay for the entire safari. Tanaka was generous. I'd say, Kessie replied. Baba squatted before Danuja, then patted her on the head. I'm sorry for your tragedy, she said in her language. We will make sure we get you safely to your people in Hangzhou. They are not my people, Danuja said. I've never met them before. I don't know why my father sent me to them. He must have had a good reason, Baba said. He looked at Kessie. I'll take her below, Kessie said. They went to Kessie's cabin. Danuja sat on the chair by Kessie's bed. Who is that man, Koroi? She asked. And what is this language you two spoke? Kessie removed her gear, then sat hard on her bed. She twisted around to check her back wound and was relieved it wasn't serious. She looked to Danuja, then patted the bed. Come, sit here. Danuja hesitated before joining her. My name is Kessie, she said to Danuja, and that man is my father, Zahur. We own this dhow. The language we spoke is Kiswahili. I thought your name was Koroi Bara, Danuja said. Kessie smirked. Black Rose. That's the name your father gave me. It was a compliment, he said. He thought it appropriate for me to use when dealing with him and the other daimos. Danuja's stoic facade finally caved in. She covered her face and sobbed. Why is this happening? What did I do? Kessie sat beside her, placing her arm around Danuja's shoulder. Terrible things happen sometimes that we cannot control. All we can do is live through them. Your father gave you the chance to do so. But I don't want to go to Li Wei and Hangzhou. I'm sure it will only be temporary, Danuja said. Once things are settled, you'll be able to return to Nihon and your relatives. Kessie stood and Danuja laid down on her bed. Get some rest. I must help the others on deck. Can you stay with me? Danuja said. At least until I fall asleep. Kessie lay down in the bed beside Danuja. Only until you fall asleep, she said. Kessie and Danuja closed their eyes. The stress of the night overcame them, and they slept. That was chapter 1 of Black Rose. This is my first historical fiction novel. I hope you like my reading, as impromptu as it was. And I hope you'll take the time to go to my website and check out the book so you can read the rest of the story. It's on sale now, www.MVmediaATL.com. I'll post a link to it after I sign off for tonight. But yeah, once again, Black Rose, my first historical fiction novel, and take a look at it. Y'all take care. Peace.